When the blood-red sunset slowly sank behind the desolate limestone ridges of the Ice Age, the vast darkness began to swallow the endless grasslands. It was a time when the boundary between life and death for humanity and nature was at its most fragile. For Homo sapiens, or their Neanderthal cousins living tens, hundreds of thousands of years ago, existence was an unrelenting struggle for survival. Hunting giant woolly mammoths, fleeing ferocious saber-toothed cats, and desperately foraging for roots and wild fruits in the biting cold. But pause for a moment and imagine. What happened when night fell? When nocturnal predators prowled and growled in the distance, and the entire tribe was safely gathered inside a warm stone cave, huddled around a crackling fire? Or during days of blinding blizzards that buried every path, bringing the hunt to a standstill? When their bellies were temporarily full, and their exhausted sweat had dried, what did prehistoric humans do during those rare moments of leisure? Did they merely sit in silence, staring into the void, waiting for a new day to begin? Or did they know how to find joy, entertain themselves, and play in their own unique way? Modern archaeological and anthropological evidence is unlocking a mysterious door, completely shattering the cliché image of brutal cave-dwelling savages who only knew how to kill and eat raw meat. The truth is, from the very dawn of human history, prehistoric people possessed a rich, creative, and astonishing spiritual life. Their leisure activities were not merely a way to kill time, they were the foundational bricks of human civilization, an evolutionary key that triggered a cognitive leap, lifting the human brain far above the rest of the animal kingdom. Step closer to the flickering fire inside a deep cavern 40,000 years ago to witness one of humanity's most primal and universal games, the art of storytelling and shadow theater. As darkness engulfed the world outside, the central fire of the cave served not only for warmth and light, but transformed into a mystical projection screen. Under the flickering firelight, the hands of seasoned hunters flexed and morphed, casting the shadows of majestic stags, massive bears, or soaring birds of prey onto the stone walls. The tribal elder's voice echoed, rising, falling, whispering like the wind through mountain passes, then howling like a wolf in the night. They were reliving the morning's intense hunt, reenacting the moment a comrade fell, or the thrilling split second a beast was brought down. Archaeologists studying cave paintings in Chauvet or Lascaux in France uncovered a groundbreaking detail. Many animal figures were drawn superimposed with overlapping lines, giving them multiple legs or heads. When viewed under the shifting, flickering light of real torches, these drawings appeared to move, creating humanity's earliest form of primitive animation. In their spare hours, prehistoric humans did not just tell stories. They lived in a primal cinematic space, letting their minds soar beyond their harsh reality, connecting generations and passing down vital survival skills through haunting mythical tales. Beyond faint sounds and shadowy figures, the prehistoric drive for entertainment inspired the creation of genuine musical instruments. Picture a young hunter after a long, exhausting day, sitting on a rocky ledge with the wingbone of a vulture or the femur of a cave bear in hand. Using razor-sharp quartz stones, they meticulously bored small, evenly spaced holes along the bone's shaft. As air blew through, a clear, resonant melody echoed back from the dry stone walls. This is not a scene from a science fiction movie. It is an established historical fact, proven by the discovery of the Hohlefels bone flute in Germany dating back over 40,000 years. Crafting such a flute required precise calculations of pitch and extraordinary handiwork. This proves that music was no accidental byproduct, but a deliberate mental exercise, an elegant and beloved form of recreation. During endless winter nights, the sound of the bone flute, blended with the rhythmic thrumming of animal hide drums and the gentle clatter of shell or tooth rattles, created wild, primitive musical gatherings. They danced around the fire, releasing pent-up energy, strengthening tribal bonds, and dispelling the fear lurking in the surrounding dark. If music was a game for the soul, crafting body ornaments and personal adornment was a game of aesthetics and self-expression. Many assume the Stone Age was defined solely by roughness and grime, but discoveries at Blombos Cave in South Africa and various European sites paint a radically different picture. During quiet hours, prehistoric humans spent long stretches smoothing tiny seashells, drilling holes, and stringing them into intricate necklaces. They ground red and yellow ochre into fine pigments, mixing them with animal fat to paint striking patterns onto their skin. This practice held both spiritual meaning and served as a primal form of personal styling. A necklace made from 50 cave bear canines was not only a source of pride for its wearer, but also the product of hundreds of hours spent meticulously crafting during idle moments. It declared one's status, craftsmanship, and aesthetic taste to the world. Even the Neanderthals, once dismissed as brutish, collected brightly colored feathers from vultures or eagles simply to wear in their hair during communal gatherings. Physical sports and movement games were also an integral part of prehistoric leisure, tailored to their way of life. Every physical game they played was closely tied to survival training, yet adapted to bring joy. Prehistoric children did not go to school. They learned through play. Archaeologists have unearthed smooth, rounded river pebbles carefully collected and stored at prehistoric sites. It is highly likely that early humans used them for target-throwing games, tag, or distance contests. Spear-throwing competitions aimed at fixed targets, wrestling matches on grassy patches, or foot races across treacherous terrain allowed young individuals to burn off excess energy, bond with tribe members, demonstrate strength, and attract potential mates. The thrill of winning a physical game back then carried the same electrical excitement felt by modern Olympic athletes today. Yet, perhaps one of the most astonishing discoveries regarding prehistoric entertainment lies in humanity's earliest board games. Clearing away the dust of time at late Paleolithic sites, researchers discovered flat stone slabs and large bone fragments incised with short parallel hatches and neat rows of carved dimples. Initially thought to be random scratches or tally marks for tracking game, closer analysis revealed smooth wear patterns caused by the repeated movement of small pebbles or seeds. In all likelihood, these were the primal predecessors of board games. On long, rain-soaked or snowy days when going outside was impossible, two individuals could sit across from each other over a carved stone, using colored stones to match wits and maneuver according to agreed-upon rules. It was a battle of logic, where strategy and luck replaced brute physical strength. This early board play not only helped pass the time, but also stimulated cortical development and sharpened tactical thinking, a critical skill for coordinated group hunts. Nor should we forget that cave art, humanity's immortal masterpieces, was born out of these very moments of creative leisure. Imagine an injured hunter resting inside the cave while the rest of the tribe is away. To chase away loneliness and boredom, they pick up a piece of black charcoal or red ochre, casually sketching the outline of a woolly mammoth encountered the day before onto the smooth wall. Gradually, this activity draws others in. Using their mouths, they blow liquid pigment, mixed from mineral powder and saliva, over hands pressed firmly against the stone, leaving behind haunting hand stencils that whisper across millennia. I was here. I existed. Painting inside pitch-black cave systems using rudimentary fat lamps with grass wicks required immense time, effort, and passion. It was not a task that filled an empty stomach, but a sophisticated form of creative expression, a deep need to project an inner world and record community history. Curiosity and the joy of exploring the unfamiliar were also distinctly human forms of play. When free from the immediate threats of hunger or predators, early humans loved to wander, collecting unusual objects encountered along the way. A glittering quartz crystal, an oddly shaped ancient fossil, or a mineral stone with an unusual luster. Archaeologists have repeatedly found these unusual stone collections inside prehistoric caves located hundreds of kilometers away from their natural geological origins. They did not gather them for tool-making. They kept them simply because they found them beautiful, intriguing, and enjoyable to own. This was the dawn of collecting, a pastime that remains powerfully alive in modern humans today. Looking back across this vast timeline of hundreds of thousands of years, we realize that the leisure activities of prehistoric humans were far from dull or primitive. From gathering around fires to tell eerie stories, blowing resonant bone flutes, carving elaborate necklaces and competing in stone throwing, to matching wits over carved rock slabs and leaving ethereal paintings on deep cave walls. Every act reflected a soul yearning for connection, creativity, and triumph over a harsh existence. Those moments of leisure, when they seemed to do nothing, yet built everything, forged language, solidified communal bonds, stimulated brain evolution, and shaped human identity. What did prehistoric people do in their free time? They played with sound, imagery, beauty, strength, and intellect itself. And through those ancient games, they quietly sculpted the very essence of what makes us human today, leaving behind a mysterious yet brilliantly shining cultural legacy deep within the misty layers of our past.